Hello, everybody. So, welcome to the Currency of Democracy Home Edition. I'm your host, Josh Davis. No, I'm just kidding. So, I want to respond to funeralsong34. He's made a couple comments on my last video about silver and gold. I might as well just go ahead with that, but what I also want to do is go over some comments that he made in a previous video way back about 6 months ago that I posted, at least, and this was the episode 1 of Currency of Democracy. And but I want to talk about his latest comments first, just to get it off. So his first comment was, as for the Thomas Jefferson quote, wasn't that directed to the creation of Bank of the United States? And that is correct, basically. We had three central banks in the United States. There was the first Bank of the United States, the second bank, and then the Federal Reserve back in 1913. But Thomas Jefferson was just generically saying this, from what I understand at least, because we had knowledge of a central bank from the Bank of England, and that's how money was issued. And there's a theory about admiralty law that stems from the central bank, but that's besides the point. The point is that central banks inflate and deflate at their will, as opposed to the market doing it on its own, and that's a problem. Central planning as to money is inherently wrong and immoral in the first place, but it never works, and that's what he was warning about. You said, also, inflation has been around since the birth of the country, hasn't it? Well, inflation will happen, whether it's by the market or by a central bank. So, yes, technically, sure, but inflation has been around since forever, really. Inflation just is, it's just the fact that the money supply grows through either printing of new money by a central bank, printing of new money, paper, or the gold supply, if you were to use gold, gets inflated as well, just by mining. So yeah, inflation will happen. Excuse me, I thought I was getting over this cold. Anyway, a dollar spent in 1776 had more buying power than in 1900, which was still before we went to the fiat monetary system. Yes, that's true. A dollar spent in that's not true. Excuse me. Dollar spent, that's definitely not true. Take apart the year. 1776, we didn't have a dollar. But if you go to 1787, the dollar had less buying power. Why? Because gold inflates, sure, but it's slow to catch up to the market forces, because people believe in gold more. People don't question it. People also are producing more with the gold, as opposed to having the dollar now inflated. Like they just doubled M1 2 years ago. Gold would never be able to do that. Just saying. So no, the dollar spent in 1787 had less buying power than in 1900, because it rose in value 13%. Go look it up. So then you say you're naturally going to have inflation over time regardless of gold standard or fiat. Yes, but how fast does inflation grow when you have gold as the standard? Gold actually, gold being the money, as opposed to having a gold standard where we have a fiat dollar and it's backed up by, gold somewhere in Fort Knox. And now, I think we all understand that the dollar is not backed right now. It's actually fiat. So, what else were you saying? Also, I'm pretty sure we do not have 14 trillion gold that would be needed to back our GDP. We don't even have 1 trillion. You're absolutely correct. Absolutely. That's why we need to audit Fort Knox. But that's besides the point. No, the fiat dollar has been inflated and has gone beyond the realm of gold standard. That's the whole point of getting us off of the gold standard in the first place, so that they can create more debt, so that they can go on with these wars. They can go on with this. Anyway, you continued, so we're on to the second comment now. Don't get me wrong, I do agree with you that the Fed is a bad thing and quantitative easing is BS as well. Both are against the core principle of capitalism and free markets. I just don't believe that having a gold standard is feasible, and going to one would only make the rich who have piles of gold and silver even richer, because you would have to increase its worth to account for every dollar out there, or tell people your $1,000 in the bank is now equal to $1 gold backed. But that's the way it is right now, isn't it? My dollar is worth a 1,000th of a piece of gold. That's the whole thing. Like, yes, that's how we know we're inflated. That's the whole point. Yes, the more dollars you put into the system, that's inflation. Inflation isn't rising prices, that's the effect of it. But let's say that we wanted to go back to a gold standard. All we have to do is, trade in, say, I don't know, like I take $1,000 and then I get a gold piece back from Fort Knox, if it exists, which it probably doesn't. I think we all understand that. So how would we go back to a gold standard? All we have to do is just let the market work. For now, we could barter. That's just capitalism all in itself right there. Capitalism usually entails some kind of common currency as well, but you could just barter. We talked about that on my show, and I haven't posted it yet because I still don't have an editor, but that's okay. I have a minute left, so I'll try to run through this last comment. Gold can be manipulated as well. All it would take is the rumor of new gold mines in some third world country and the rich selling mass quantities of gold to give the illusion of some ounce of truth. Majority of what happens in the stock markets or the selling of merchandise or commodities is based on perception. No, it's based on agreement. That's what capitalism is. If I contract to you, to work for me, then that's a contract and that's an agreement. If I say that I want to trade you a cup of coffee for, 2 beers, and you agree to it, that's just an agreement. It has nothing to do with perception. If you perceive that the beer is equal to a coffee, then we have to trade 1 to 1. That's fine. If I say to you that I want to trade you 2 ounces of silver for $50, and you think it's worthwhile, go for it. if it's not, if 2 ounces of silver is worth $30 to you, and I disagree, then that's fine. It's based on. It's not totally based on perception. It's based on agreement in the end. It's also based on the market's pricing is based on valuation, and that's what perception is, sure, but it's based on agreement. And anyway, I think I gotta cut it here. I'll start up a new video.